Okay, today we're jumping into Atomic Habits. It's a book that completely flips the script on how we think about success and self-improvement. The big idea? Real, lasting change doesn't happen with some huge, dramatic overhaul. Nope, it comes from the tiny, almost invisible choices we make every single day. So let's just ask the big question right up front. What's the actual secret to getting remarkable results? We're always told it's about setting massive goals or having superhuman willpower. But what if that's not really the whole story? Here's the hint. The core idea of this whole thing is that true change is really just the compound interest of self-improvement. It's not about making one giant leap. It's about taking these tiny, consistent steps that at first feel like they're doing nothing at all.
And when I say tiny, I mean it. But check out this math, because it's pretty mind-blowing. If you get just 1% better at something each day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. You end up almost 38 times better. That is the explosive power of just showing up and making tiny gains.
Think about it like this. Imagine a plane taking off from LA, headed straight for New York City. If that pilot adjusts the nose of the plane just 3.5 degrees to the south, a change so small you wouldn't even feel it, that plane isn't going to land in New York anymore. It's going to land in Washington, D.C. That's how powerful a tiny, early change can be over a long distance. All right, so this brings us to the first huge mindset shift from the book. We have got to stop being so obsessed with our goals and start obsessing over our systems instead. So what's the difference, really? A goal is the result you want, right? Like, I want to run a marathon. The system, on the other hand, is the process that gets you there. It's your training schedule, your diet, your sleep. Goals are all about the finish line, but systems are about the process of getting a little bit better every single day. So what's so bad about focusing on goals? Well, the book lays out three big problems. First, winners and losers often have the exact same goal. Every Olympian wants a gold medal, but only a few get one. It's the system that separates them. Second, achieving a goal is just a temporary fix. What happens after you cross the finish line? The motivation often just vanishes. And third, goals can trap your happiness in the future. You tell yourself, I'll be happy when I reach my goal, and you miss out on enjoying the process right now. Okay, so if systems are the answer, how do we actually build them? Well, to do that, we need to understand the basic science of how habits work in our brains. And it all comes down to a really simple 4-step loop. Every single habit you have, the good, the bad, all of them, follows this exact pattern. It starts with a cue, which is a trigger. That trigger sparks a craving, a desire. The craving motivates a response, which is the actual habit. And finally, you get a reward, which satisfies the craving and tells your brain, hey, let's do that again. It's a feedback loop that basically runs our lives on autopilot. Now, to really get how powerful these cues are, check out this story about baby seagulls. They're hardwired to peck at the red dot on their mother's beak to get food. But what's wild is that scientists discovered they'll peck at any red dot, even one on a random stick. The cue, that little red dot, is so deeply ingrained that the response is totally automatic. And our brains get triggered by cues in a very similar way. Okay, that's enough of the theory. Let's get to the good stuff, the practical stuff. Here are some super actionable strategies you can literally start using today to build better systems in your own life. First up, we've got something called habit stacking. The idea is simple. Instead of trying to pull a new habit out of thin air, you just piggyback it onto a habit you already do without thinking. So the formula is, after my current habit, I will do new habit. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will drink a glass of water. See, you're using an existing pathway in your brain to build a new one. This leads us to another key idea, and it's summed up in this little formula. Behavior is a function of the person in their environment. What that really means is that our surroundings often matter more than our willpower. We think we're in control, but our environment is constantly shaping our actions, way more than we realize. So what do you do with that information? You become an architect of your environment. You design it for success. If you want to work out in the morning, lay out your gym clothes the night before. Make the cue obvious. If you want to stop eating so much junk food, hide it in a cupboard where you can't see it. Make the cue invisible. It's that simple. All right, this next one is an absolute game changer, especially if you procrastinate. It's called the 2-minute rule. It says that when you start a new habit, you should scale it down so that it takes less than 2 minutes to do. The goal at first isn't to get amazing results. The goal is to master the art of just showing up. So read before bed becomes read one page.
run a marathon becomes put on your running shoes. That's it. That's the whole habit. You're making it so ridiculously easy to start that you can't possibly say no. You build the starting ritual first, and then momentum will carry you the rest of the way.
Okay, now we're going to get to the deepest, most powerful layer of all of this. Because this isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become. The real, true goal of building good habits isn't just to get better results, it's actually to change your identity.
Think about it like this. Every single action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to become. So when you work out, even when you don't feel like it, you're not just exercising. You're casting a vote for being an athletic person. Your habits are literally the path to becoming a new version of yourself.
And here's an incredible real-world example. A man named Laszlo Polgar had this theory that geniuses are made, not born. So he decided to test it on his own kids. He created an environment where his 3 daughters were just completely immersed in chess from the moment they were born. For them, chess wasn't just some game they played, it was their identity. And what happened? All 3 of them became chess prodigies. It's proof of how deeply our habits and our environment shape who we are.
And that's the real mindset shift here. It's not about just forcing yourself to do something new. It's about starting to believe you are the type of person who does that thing. You're not just faking it till you make it, you're believing it so you actually become it.
So in the end, every little choice, every tiny habit is like a brushstroke on the canvas of who you are. The biggest takeaway from Atomic Habits isn't a bunch of life hacks. It's the powerful realization that you are the architect of your own identity. You get to decide who you become. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?